Greetings, fellow citizens of the net. First of all, if you are adverse to subtitles or movies that are not in the English language, then you might just want to go to another channel. True fans of horror want the best. I'm a connoisseur. I'm looking for that film that's going to take me to the next level. That's the reason that I really started this series, because there's other people out there I know that feel the same way, that want to see those movies that they haven't seen yet. Because there's so many, and I really don't like the use of that word trope, but it's the word that fits, right? Hopefully I can turn you guys on to some stuff that's got some newness to it, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at some older stuff that's got that newness too. That's the reason I started this series, specifically for true connoisseur fans of horror. International is the only way that I can go, because the English language market, there's only so much scope to it. Sometimes you need to go outside of your comfort zone to get to another place. So we're going to talk about a movie that premiered in March. It's called Raw, and this is a brand new film. It's a first-time full-length feature for this director, and it's this director named Julia Ducournau. It's a French movie. She's a writer and director. This baby is all hers, and it blew my brains out when I saw it. It's a fantastic film, and it's so rich and so full of. You can look at this thing on several different layers. That's how amazingly well this is done. And this is our first full-length film, man. So I'm just pumped to see it. What's next. And I heard that her next feature is going to be about a serial killer. So, well, this horror film, not only is it a great horror film, but it's a smart horror film. And by smart, I mean that it's really, really intelligent in the way certain elements are used or not used. There's certain movies throughout history that people go back and they go, wow, I remember when this movie came out, or I remember when that movie came out. I think we're going to feel this way about this movie, okay? And I've been pushing it on everybody. Nobody's even just giving me the time of day when I've mentioned it. But I'm trying to sell this movie as hard as I can, because it's the best thing I've seen since this movie, another French movie, as a matter of fact, called Martyrs. It came out in 2008, and that one was another one that just went, holy shit. It was so heavy and so intense. The French, man, what I like about the way that they're doing horror is that they don't have a rule book. It's like there's no French horror rule book yet. So you see directors, like the person that did Inside, Hotention, man, which is that is a fantastic movie, and that was really the one that kind of kicked off this whole French Renaissance horror thing. It's just you just cannot lose with these films, and I'm looking at a list right now, and of course number one is Martyrs, and there's another one called Shaitan, which is excellent, Sheitan, and Frontiers. But I'm going to talk to you. I'm talking to you about Raw. Raw opens with this character named Justine, a young girl. She's a savant intellect, and she's a vegetarian, which is a very important part of the movie. And they establish that the whole family are vegetarians, right? It opens with Justine. She's 16 years old, a young girl, but she's old enough to where she can go to veterinary school. That's how intelligent she is. But they don't really play up into into her youth, really. This is definitely a coming of age film. Like I said, there's so many layers to this deal. I mean, it's just I can go on and on. And so she's going to veterinary school, and apparently, rush week at French universities is just like U.S. colleges. There's like these hazing rituals that involves all this degradation, binge drinking, hard partying at night, and vet classes during the day. Her older sister, Alexia, is played by an actress named Ella Rumpf, is in her sophomore year, and the main character, Justine, is played by an actress named Garance Marillier. And then we meet Justine's roommate, Adrian, guy named actor named Rabah Ophel. He questions, she says, well, why are you my roommate? Why they give me a boy? I specifically asked for a girl, and he says he tells her he's gay, and he guesses in the college's eyes that's the same. He was, he's not into it either. One of the hazing rituals involves eating a rabbit's kidney, and Justine balks. She says, I'm a vegetarian, I can't eat this stuff, and then she says, my sister's here, she'll vouch for me. And they call the sister over there, and the sister just looks at her and says, eat it. And she pops it in her mouth, and then she chews it up, and then of course she kind of pukes it out later. But her sister before her, she showed that she's doing it too, so she ate the meat. And later she breaks out in a severe rash, insanely scratching, insatiable itch. That itch is, that insatiable itch, that insatiable appetite, which it progresses through the movie. And her hunger is only satiated when she eats human flesh. That's what it culminates into. Of course, her sexual desire. There's a metaphor there too, for the insatiability. The use of music by Ducournau is just incredibly fantastic. The way that she uses it is so smart. You get this eerie, visceral reaction on a primal level, and it kind of reminds me of something like if John Carpenter and David Lynch collabed on a music piece, man. The soundtrack would sound exactly like this, man. She's just done a fantastic job. I'm not going to give too much away on this movie because I really want people to watch it before I talk about it in a spoilery kind of way. And I think if once enough of you see this thing, you'll come back and say, okay, let's talk about this shit. All right, because it's a mind blower. I'm telling you, it's the smartest. It's not just a cannibal movie, man. I mean, this movie is. One could argue, all right, it's an argument for veganism, okay? Or you could say that it's just a dark comedy, okay? Because there's some funny as hell scenes in it, man. I was cracking up. And, there's this element of alienation, this social alienation, this random, these random creepy strangers, man. And there's an element of comedy in that, too. Of course, the metaphor for buddy sexuality, sexual awakening, sexual identity, coming to terms, with an identity. There's this canine connection too that made me think it was kind of like a revisit of to the idea of what werewolves are, or just the animal within everybody. It's a movie about sisters, man. It's so. And when confronted on this, the director, Ducournau, she just says, really what I did was I really wanted to make a really good horror movie with as, little elements as she needed she said there's 3 taboos in our reality, and one's murder, the other is cannibalism, and then the third is incest. And she said that she wanted to take a taboo to see what barriers she could break with that. She hit a home run here, man. This thing's a touchdown. It's a 12-point touchdown. So if you're a football fan, you'll understand that that's funny. So, all right, in closing, I'm just going to say, see the movie. Once you see the movie, come back and I'll do a longer piece where I take the film apart, okay? And we'll talk about piece by piece, because I really want to do that too. But I really wanted to, in this deal, just kind of, give you an excuse to rent it out. I think it's available through Amazon and Vudu on rental streaming. Okay, so it's already available for digital download through iTunes and Amazon. Okay, and it looks like the DVD is going to be released September the 5th, but the Blu-ray, I'm getting inconsistent, so it's a mystery. But anyway, like I've been saying, man, this is just a killer film. Find it, watch it. It's worth $5. I mean, it really is. It's worth paying $5 to see, just to blow your mind. 3 or 4 times. I mean, I've watched this movie 3 times now, and I see something different in it every time I watch it. So it's one of those. This is irate. I'm splitting. All right. So Daterludes.